Well, hello there, folks. It's hump day. Yeah, a little BTO. Ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, yeah. There's a story behind that. You get old enough, you have a lot of stories behind almost anything and everything. But hey, it's good to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I know you've got a lot of different places you could be at, so I don't take it for granted. I appreciate it, and thank you for enriching my journey. All of you have added to my essence, and wow, that's all I got to say. Hey, Mark, how you doing, brother? All the way down there in Brazil. Love you, bro. Hello, Stephanie Marie and Scotty Boy. I like your comment, brother. He's go back and read in the chat room. I mean, uh, and like you, Scotty, I am fascinated with palmistry. Always have been. Um, the gifts that, you know, I have, you have yours. I put them on the back burner for a long time, but yeah. And the thing about palmistry, real quick, is that it's the message you sent to yourself. Back in the day when I was inventing payment systems, got very much heavily into biometric payment. And, it's very unique. These fingerprints that we have, no two are the same. It's pretty unique. You think about it. And your hands literally tell you what's coming. And as you get further down the road, you can look back and go, hmm, it was true after all. So, anyway, I think you're going to have fun with this. And again, it's the message in the bottle. And free will plays a role. You don't have to do it. I guess you could always go against it, but I don't know. If we truly are gods, and even the Jesus character, that's what he said. Know ye not that you are gods? So if that's the case, now just taking for the argument that if we came here voluntarily, I like the idea that being captured or coerced or forced. I like the idea. And so we could see on this celestial light rail, right? And there you are coming in from conception all the way through the exit. And you're giving this overview. And so you can only do a certain amount of information to yourself because you're going to get wiped. It's part of the process. You get it back when you cross back over. But so what would you do? How would you send a message, let's say Jan to you? How would Jan send a message to herself before she came in here? Because in essence, we're all our own spirit guides. We may have companions, but in the end, you are your best and only spirit guide. Um, so, how would you do that? Well, you think about an intelligence higher than yourself. We all got one, right? Um, how clever to send yourself messages in the palm of your hands. These hands do everything. They create, they make. I mean, it's quite remarkable. So I haven't forgotten about speaking favor over us. Uh, and that's what I'm doing. Love the favor. In fact, it's in my hand. It's actually that it said that I would go through life favored and have a rough part of the front of it. Boy, wasn't that the truth, but what a trip. Nothing missing and nothing broken. Yeah, it's peace. And by all means, please be kind to your mind. All right. So, how is everybody in the chat room? I see Nina and Marie. Good to see you. Mission Control. Rick, how are you, brother? Bonnie, hello. Good to see you. So many people out there. So, welcome. Appreciate it. Um, hey, Jackie. Good to see you as well as I scroll back there. Um, yeah. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Sent you back my email. Hope it helped. You hang in there, Lauren. Just telling you, you got an exciting path ahead of you. So anyway, Lost in Space. What's up, brother? Good to see you. I haven't seen um quite a few other people here lately. Gilbert, I don't see you as here. Trust you're doing well. Uh, so anyway, lots of stuff to talk about. I love it. I hate war. They came out with some stats today, and wow. They said 1.7 million Ukrainians have died in this thing, 1.5 to 2 million plus on Russia's side. Wow, what's wrong with you people over there? Screw your fucking traditions. Traditions at one time didn't exist, and no human can own any land. And why would you sacrifice? Why would you put on the altar and sacrifice a generation? You've wiped out your youth. You've set an unnatural balance in your country. Truly, you can't be that fucking stupid. But apparently they are. Anyway, there's my commentary for the day. War sucks. That's all I got to say. So we're going to get into stuff. First thing I want to do, and sometimes you see these bots. They are bots, I guess they may be real people, but I check them out. And I found this one book. I went and bought it. And thought I'd share it with y'all because it's really did. I did the first exercise, and you would know it that when you do your name, this whole thing in numerology, you know, final it is that I am a 9 and a 3. So figure this thing out. So anyway, I wanted to share this with everybody because this is kind of cool. Um, and we'll just go through this and you can do it for yourself because it's just really that cool. So this is a book called The Black Seal of the Inner Circle, 21 Forbidden Systems for the Elite Wealth and Rituals. So the book, and I read the reviews, a lot of positive ones, you're always going to get the mix. But anyway, I thought this one was really interesting. As we always think that there's these elite groups, and there are. It's just not conspiracy theory. They really are. And these people who look to be so nice, so respectable, have a sweet disposition, are fucking monsters on the inside. I do some, and people do this stuff. They will sacrifice another human for them to be wealthy all their life, to never experience the pain of labor or hunger, or to be hot, cold, whatever it is, Sad. They're just screwing themselves because eventually they'll have to come and take the course anyway. So just bite the bullet, right? All right. So numerology as divine code. We're always talking about freaking code, right? Um, DNA, code, screw code, right? Um, so the hidden grid of influence. So if things are in the natural world the way they are, then there is a certain natural order in the unseen. And since the seen and the unseen share the same scene, then it would only make sense that if you had more knowledge or understanding of that unseen platform, it's only going to aid you in the seen platform. Do you see what I'm saying? Sure you do. Um, so this guy, Bell Brooks, says that he was initiated into one of these really, I don't know what you'd call it, demigods, shown secrets, because there are. You can be as wealthy as you want. Now, there is this thing called randomness. And when we get into the palmistry thing, you're going to see that sometimes it's not so random. But anyway, the point is, if you really have a desire for fame, fortune, success, define that, please, health, prosperity, living a charmed life, well, if you're willing to pay the admission fee, remember, no wisdom ever comes without a price. If you have wisdom, you've paid a price for it. It's not given to you. Each and every one of us have to earn it. There are no free rides, no shortcuts. So the more wisdom you acquire, it it shows in your aura. Your very spirit being reflects that. And as you become back once you once were, you will know others by the amount of wisdom. And typically, longer lived spirits, souls, if you're saying that a soul can come in a period of time that had no time prior to that time, okay, not sure how that works, but all right. Um, well, then it's a learning curve from the very beginning. So he wrote, and again, I got this over on Amazon. If you so wish to get it, well, throw a few shekels over his way. He'll appreciate it. He writes, they didn't teach me numerology in the inner circle. So this group is the inner circle. How y'all doing? I know you've been looking at me. Yeah, so you say I'm too hot to handle? Is that it, baby? All right. He says they burned it into me. Not through books, not lectures, through experience. Patterns of pain and reward. Well, ain't that the truth for all of us? Don't we all have that pain and reward? Yeah, we do. Whispers encoded in dates. Everything is about numbers. You could say everything. No, we'll go on. Numbers. Um, Coordinated quote unquote accidents that weren't accidents at all. Look back to your life and how many things can you recall right now, real quick, those things, were they truly accidents? Hmm. He said, I didn't know numbers could move people, could summon events, could lock doors, or open them remotely through ritual alone until I was made to use them. But first, I had to understand a brutal truth. The universe doesn't speak in language, it speaks in structure. And structure is math. And math, when decoded properly, becomes ritual. The highest occult sciences are the physicist, the scientist. I just don't want to think it that way. But for us enlightened ones, we know exactly what they are. You go visit a doctor, you're visiting a fucking wizard. Yeah. And remember, they don't know everything. They practice. But yeah, if you know someone who's a scientist, physicist, astrophysicist, whatever, they're into the occult. Big time. But I digress. No, actually, I'm moving right on along. They brought me into the chamber on the third Friday of the third month at 3:33 a.m. Lately, I've been waking up at exactly 3:33, and I've been many of you suffer through that. But boy, sucks, doesn't it? And you really appreciate when you get to sleep all the way through. Yeah. They made sure I understood the triple three, an activation code in their system. Each number is alive to them, not symbolic. They say, and if you write this down, it's a code. One is the spear, identity. Two is the mirror, duality, opposition, partnership. Three is the pyramid, expansion, power beyond duality. Four is the box, containment, systems, boundaries. Five is the blade, change, chaos, momentum. Six is the seductress, beauty, illusion, control through harmony. Pick up on number six. It's just, yeah. Seven is the ghost, wisdom, divine timing, withdrawal. Eight is the crown, the krona, infinite power, legacy, return. Nine is the gate, endings, thresholds, access. Zero is the void, amplification, nothing and everything. They taught me to feel numbers, not calculate them. A good exercise is to start counting and tell me what color you can see with each number. The code, the coded life grid. One of the first teachings I've received was called the life grid algorithm. They had me write out my birth date. Now, I've done this exercise myself, and you should do it too. It's very simple, but it gives you an idea of who and what you are. Um, in this case, this author says mine is March 23rd, 1989. Then they broke it down using Polygrarian reduction, the same system used in occult and intelligence operations globally. I just want to stop right there. So, if you ever hear the CIA, FBI, NSA, all of those, they're occultists. Oh, they may sit there with their hands folded with their little Bibles in their middle meeting, but those sons of bitches, those bitches, they're in deep to the occult. Yeah. And here's a little something for you to chew on too. AI is the result of the occult. Think about that. This isn't numerology for fun. This is numerology for command. So he wrote out his whole birth date, and it turned out that it came to 8. You're an 8, Vale, the hooded figure said. You came here to build empires, but only after suffering disgrace. 8s are forged in betrayal and must reclaim power through control, not revenge. So you see these dumbasses that are so-called congressional, leaders and what have you, that are basically walking with their craniums up their rectums. That's the problem. They're not enlightened souls. They're very darkened souls. They could use a little bit of it. We could provide that. Anyway, then they made me map out my life grid. Soul urge number, vowels in full name reduced, expression numbers, full name reduced, destiny numbers, full date of birth, karmic debts, any missing or duplicated numbers, personal year, year reduced, plus birth date. They had entire profiles on high-level politicians, celebrities, and CEOs based solely on number matrices. You see, folks, most people walk around and they're totally oblivious. And even those that are in it, the vast majority of it fully don't understand. They don't have the mental capacity. Well, maybe they don't have the spiritual capacity. And so they kind of walk around clueless, never realizing that it's ritual that is guiding their lives. So much for free will, huh? Well, they really chose, right? Um, they predicted failures, deaths. Now, imagine if you could predict the death of a CEO of a major company. How about the death of a politician? What kind of power would you hold? Now, they may not believe you at first, but as you begin to predict certain people's deaths and they begin dying specifically at that moment, oh, yeah, you're going to draw a lot of attention. Make you really rich, too. Um, Market crashes. Imagine this. Imagine it if you are part of the control grid system that you know when the markets are going to crash. Imagine if you knew presidential scandals, politician scandals, because they all got skeletons in their closet. Yeah. All based on numeric phrase transitions. And now I do it too. Date ritual engineering. They would never perform a global influence ritual without being aligned to a specific dates. Tribe members, this is something that we all need to be picking up. If this group ever gets in total sync with everyone else in the group, no more bickering, no more, challenging personalities, yeah. Let me show you something that was never meant to be shared. June 6th, 2006 equals 666. That date was used in layered influence rituals conducted in four major cities: New York, London, Rome, Shanghai. So if we got all this freaking free will, then how come we're herded like cattle to the slaughter? Every good shepherd takes its flock to the slaughterhouse. Every good shepherd's going to eat you eventually. Yeah, munch on that a little bit. So what happened? Well, go back and look and see what happened on June 6, 2006. Read the headlines. Hmm. Tell you what did happen. You can follow this guy here. He wrote a spike in stock volatility. It's correct, particularly in the NASDAQ. Record contract killings in underworld syndicates. You see, even these cartels, they answer to something higher. They're controlled by something higher because they ain't smart enough to figure it out. What also happened was a mass influx of energy into one of the gate networks. You think it might be good for us to go back and study deeper the gates? And remember, there's a lot of forgeries out there, a lot of mirages. The date acts like a harmonic gateway. So I have been contending. I have my program. I know where I want to go, but for years, y'all followed it. I've been telling, we all know it. There is a way that you can directly connect to this unseen realm. It's everywhere. Most of us have been more connected to it than what we ever realize. There are some gifted people here. And, for myself, I'm not going to hold back. I've been doing that for decades. I'm not going to do it anymore. So your rituals, actions, even conversations on the wrong or right days can amplify or erase results. How many of us have been our own victims because of ignorance, which is, by the way, this guy named R. Wayne Steiger, he wrote this thing. It says, ignorance is a self-inflicted disease easily cured by knowledge. So how much work, ritual work, have you done? And then it seems like you're going along and then boom, it's like it's all freaking wiped out. Like it's not even there anymore. It's probably because you violated something. Yeah. Raise your hand if you've, yeah, exactly. That's why they taught me the three commandments of chronomagic. What are they? Well, the first one is reduce all dates before engagement. Know the core number. Align intention with the archetype of that number. 3, use timing sigils drawn from the reduced sequence. Had a beautiful couple, Charlie Steele. I have my prosperity sigil hanging right over there. I find it interesting that if you go back in the archives, we went methodically through these sigils. Are you seeing how something was preparing us? And Moi is taking particular notes of this. I mean, I have been lackadaisical in, again, on these dates. Yeah. He says, I still keep my ritual clock synced to this day. Wow. Next one, number spellcraft and numeric curse breaking. You know why some people never make it? It's not because they don't work hard. It's because their name is an algorithm that rejects success. How many parents have inadvertently cursed their children by giving them names that they just made up, never taking in the knowledge and understanding what this name is going to do to that child in this realm. Mm-mm. Bell says, let me explain here. Um, they taught me this ritual in Lucerne, Switzerland, inside a villa lined with serpent gold. A child prodigy was renamed using a calculated name change. That's how serious this is. If you find out that your name has been a curse to you, you might want to look at changing your name. You know, you can do that. Um, Within 3 years, he was a billionaire software developer. Not a coincidence. Names have vibrational profiles. They are run through character number maps, and each name is either a lock or a key. Here's how they break it. A equals 1, B equals 2, and it's very, very simple. You can literally do it like I did in a little post-it note. So you're going to repeat this 3 times because 1, A through I is 9, J through Q is 9, R through Z is 9. So that's how you do it. And then you will take your name and then you break that down and you add the code in properly, and then you take your proper name and then you look at those numbers. How do they represent? And then what do those represent in coming down to a base ritual number? Far out, isn't it? Um, Take your full name, convert it, reduce it. What number is your name screaming? His was the unlucky 7. Mine is the beauty number of 3. Um, and it's even in my palm with we'll get into that. But anyway, too mysterious, always withdrawing, too much inner knowing, not enough external command. They renamed me inside the circle. I won't tell you what they called me, but I will tell you this. Within months, my perception changed. So did others' reactions to me. Doors opened, clients appeared, strangers began to obey my words. A name isn't just a sound. It's a vibration program. The 3-ring numeric dominance ritual. This is the only ritual I'm allowed to share fully. If I reveal the others, I may not be alive to write page 3. Yeah, you violate this, you sacrifice your energy life. Yeah. That thought doesn't attract me at all. Like, oh, sure, I want some of that freaking karma. All right. It's called the 3-ring ritual. I used it to, 1, manipulate investment outcomes. By the way, I could get into things on here, but yeah. Cause a public figure to disappear for a month. Turn a relationship into worship. Here's the framework. Ring 1, primary intention number. Reduce your goal to a 1 through 9 scale. Example, money equals 8, legacy, infinity. Love is 6, harmony and attraction. War is 5, chaos. 2, ring 2, opponent disruption number. This one, you choose the antithesis number of your threat. If your threat is structured 4, use 5 to inject chaos. I just got in my spirit, someone is listening to this. You've had some problems and you just learned how to take care of some, how shall we say, influences that won't be bothering you. Ring 3, time override number. Now you can begin to understand there's a knowledge here that obviously is not being fully addressed. That's the thing about the hidden mysteries. They'll let you see a little bit, but if you're going to find out the rest of the story, you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper. In this case, on the time override number, select a number that bends time, 7 or 9. And it's interesting, in my name, I have a 7 and a 9. I also got that war thing. I'm going, wow, okay. Um, 7 slows it down. 9 ends something rapidly. Well, y'all wanted the freaking occult. I'm giving it to you on a fucking golden platter. Now, write these 3 digits in a triangle. Chant their archetypes while visualizing the outcome over a black mirror, or, wait for it, a phone screen. And you do it at 3:33 a.m. Use frequency music or tonal binaural if needed. Do this 3 nights in a row. Never speak the intention aloud, only the numbers. So let's say I have an opponent. I've done their name. I now have their number. And let's say that their number equals 5. So what am I going to do? Because they really screwed me over. Now, I'm not going to curse them. Don't have to. Don't need to. Because they don't have a knowledge of understanding ritual, flow. They don't understand frequency. They don't understand vibrational harmony. They don't understand that. I do. And I'm a dude that performs rituals. Done it all my freaking life. Truth is, all of us have. So now, just by visualizing a sequence of numbers, well, they're probably not going to have a very good next year or so. And you can do that. And you can do the reverse. If there's someone who you just adore and you would like to really just bliss their ass off and bless them and favor them, you can do the reverse. And they'll just be walking along, and the next thing you know, good things are just falling into their laps, and they have no idea how, why, or how, but you do. But never talk of it. Yeah. They use this everywhere. Look at this. Look at the logos, the time of attacks, the date new tech is launched, the birthdays of selected leaders, the amount of zeros in a bank bailout. Nothing is random. Everything is coded. Numerology isn't belief, it's hidden infrastructure. They told me the world is a stage. I know better. It's not a stage. It's a calculated ritual space, and numbers are the dials behind the curtains. I share this now because the black spirit has returned. The back spirit has returned. I feel it when I don't write. It pulses behind my rib cage, tapping 3 times at 3:33 a.m. A reminder, a threat, a promise. There are 20 more chapters, 20 more weapons. You've just received the first key. Use it, or it will use you. Wow, that's serious. You know, I've been taught my adult life that you will be held accountable for what you know. And the accounting part of it comes because of that which you knew but failed to do. Now, if you're into the occult, you have special giftings, and you're not using those giftings, many times it can act like a plug and it begins to back up. And no matter what you're doing, it seems like it's not working. It's one of those reasons. All right. Hope you found that fun. I did. I got to go back and read the rest of this. Hey, Graham, good to see you. Hi, Gaia. Hello, Paul. Colleen, good to see you. Susie Q, what you doing, darling? All right, so let's continue. Now, you've got a hand, right? Supposedly, you got a right and a left. If you don't, I'm sure there's a story behind that one. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah. So we're going to get into some really basic understanding of palmistry because we all should be doing it. There's no reason why you shouldn't. Okay, so we start on palm reading. If you know this, pat yourself in the back. If you think you know this, then listen. You might learn something, and if you don't know anything, congratulations. Come on in with the rest of this. The water's just fine. All right. So, also known as palmistry or chiromancy, palm reading is practiced all over the world with roots in Indian astrology and gypsy fortune telling. Those people knew some stuff. That's why they were so good at it. The objective is to evaluate a person's character and aspects of their life by studying the palm of their hand. There is no substantiated evidence of correlation between palm features and psychological traits. Palm reading is for entertainment purposes only. Now you have to do the CYA. Now, of course, you have the right to believe in whatever you want to believe. Here we go. All right, so getting started. Which hand to read? There are two main practices. For males, the left hand is what you're born with, and the right is what you've accumulated throughout your life. For females, it's the opposite. Your dominant hand, the hand you use most often, determines your future, and your other non-dominant hand is used to determine the past or hidden traits. Take these into consideration when choosing which hand to read. So all of this got this thing. We got a fate line. Well, that's not true. The general. You have a fate line, you have a headline, you got a lifeline, you have mounds, you have different aspects, the thumbs, the fingers. All of this plays a role. And then you have the heart line, and then you've got these three lines here. Not everybody has them. Apparently, I'm going to live past 90, or so it says. All right, reading the primary lines of your hand. Interpret the heart line. This line is believed to indicate emotional stability, romantic perspectives, depression, and cardiac health. It begins below the index finger, content with love life, if yours does. If it begins below the middle finger, represents selfish when it comes to love. When it begins in between the middle and index fingers, caring and understanding, that's where mine comes in, is straight and short, less interested in romance. Bro, what's wrong with you? Touches the lifeline, the heart is broken easily. If your heart line is long and curvy, it means freely expresses emotion and feelings. No, I wonder back in the day if I had known about this and had read the palm of people that before I went into business with, before I was married, before you get, you're dating. Let me see your hand. I could see that. Could you imagine in an investment conference they come in and the first thing you say, I got to see your palms, please? They might really respect you and go, okay, you know something that doesn't happen. All right. If your heart line is straight and parallel to the headline, it's a good handle on your emotions. See, is wavy means many relationships, absence of serious relationships. If you have a circle on the line, it means you're going to experience sadness or be depressed. A broken line equals emotional trauma. And if you experience these traumas, it will show up. It's amazing. The older you get, it's like it's a living document. In one hand, I can look and see the characteristics and traits. In the other one, I can see the results. That's pretty cool. Two, the headline. This represents learning style, communication style, intellectualism, and thirst for knowledge. The short line is it prefers physical achievements over mental ones. So everyone remember where the old heart line is at. You know, the heart line. Um, there we go. It's right here. This one. Some people have difference. Everyone's got a different one, right? Let's see if it's curved, sloping line. Yeah, it means creativity. If it curves downwards, inclination towards literature and fantasy. Curves upwards towards the little finger, aptitude for math, businesses, and logic. Mm-hmm. Um, Separate from the lifeline, adventure, enthusiasm for life. Wavy line represents a short attention span. A deep, long line is thinking is clear and focused. Straight line thinks realistically. Broken headline means inconsistencies in thought or has varying interest. Multiple crosses through the headline equals momentous decisions. Three, elevate the lifeline. This line reflects physical health, general well-being, and major life changes. The length is not associated with length of life. Did you get that? That's a common mistake. Oh, you got a short lifeline. Well, that doesn't mean what you think it means. There again is ignorance on full display. All right. If your lifeline runs close to the thumb, you're often tired. Curves completely around the thumb, good physical and mental health. What they mean by that is if it comes like this. Forked upwards, positive attitude towards life. Forked downwards, you're a pessimist. Curvy, plenty of energy. Forms a semicircle, enthusiastic and courageous. Long and deep, much vitality. Short and shallow, manipulated by others. Ooh. Swoops around in a semicircle, strength and enthusiasm. Straight and close to the edge of the palm, cautious when it comes to relationships. Ends at the base of the index finger, academic achievement. Ends at the base of the pinky finger. And you can see this, so when it goes here, just take it all the way up, and you can see which finger you're coming in at. Ends at the base of the pinky finger, success in business. Ends at the base of the ring finger, sign of wealth. That's where mine ends, right at the base of it, right in the middle. Ends below the thumb, strong attachment with family. Multiple lifelines, extra vitality. And here's another myth, I've heard it said, well, oh man, and you walk away and you're going, wow, that was a bummer. And it turns out they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. I mean, would you like a little extra vitality? You've met those people that seem to have this effervescence about them. They never seem to have a delineation of energy of any kind. Yeah. If you have a circle in line, hospitalized or injury, break in the line, sudden changes of lifestyle, no line equals nervous. And there are those who have no lifeline. And as I studied mine on this thing, yeah, said that, I would have, several challenges in my life and health wise, and I have. I mean, the meningitis Lyme disease really sucked. And there's this other things you can go on, and you're going, well, how about that? All right, the fate line. Let's get back to review for the old fate line. Now, some people don't have them. Doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about it. Just means you don't have any. This line indicates the degree to which a person's life is affected by external circumstances beyond their control. If you have a deep one, it means that you're strongly controlled by fate. So, Nina, there's your debate right there. But there's a difference between fate and destiny and free will. I believe that both of them will go to the energy of the free will. Many times you may think that you had free will in this thing and that you thought you would go here, but the truth of the matter is your free will made the decision. You don't even have to be conscious about it. Your consciousness may catch up later. If it's unbroken and runs straight across, successful life ahead. If it breaks and changes in direction, prone to many changes in life from external forces. It means there's just some things that, for instance, if your lifeline was showing one thing and you made the decision, for instance, to go in the military, well, that decision will, and the interesting thing is your palm will eventually begin to reflect that. And if you happen to die when you were supposed to live long, yeah. Um, if there's a fork in the line, it means great amount of wealth ahead. If it starts joined to the lifeline, yeah, uh, it means self-made individual develops aspirations early, like this. Let's see. Joins with lifeline somewhere in the middle signifies a point at which one's interests must be surrendered to those of others. Wow. If it starts at the base of the thumb and crosses the lifeline, support offered by family and friends. If you have no line, comfortable but uneventful life ahead. Would you take that? If someone was to guarantee as you're coming out, well, I can guarantee that you're going to be comfortable but uneventful life. Would you take it? Sometimes the hardest times in life teach us the deepest meanings, the lessons that will carry us always forward. And I can say this wholeheartedly, and many of you can probably say it because you know the age you are. I'm grateful for every catastrophe that's happened in my life. When I've been wiped out financially, when I almost died. Um, yeah, the greatest joy I was having was rebuilding. Tired, felt betrayed, all those other things, but was never more fulfilled. Hmm. Determine the hand shape. All right. The length of the palm is measured from the wrist to the bottom of the fingers. All right. So Earth has a broad, square palms and finger. Thick or coarse skin is ruddy in color, and the length of the palm equals the length of the fingers. Now, my fingers are not as long as my palm is, so you can measure that out yourself. Let's see. Solid values and energy, sometimes stubborn, practical and responsible, sometimes materialistic, works with their hands, comfortable with the tangible. All right, so if you have a square or rectangle palm with long fingers and sometimes protruding knuckles, there are an air palm. If you have a low set thumbs, dry skin, and length of the palm is less than the length of the fingers. It means that you're sociable, talkative, and witty, can be shallow, spiteful, and cold, comfortable with the mental and the intangible, does things in different and radical ways. Now, if you have a long, sometimes oval shaped palm with long, flexible, conical fingers, length of palm equals the length of the fingers, then it's a water palm. You're creative, perceptive, sympathetic, can be moody, emotional, inhabited. You tend to be introverts and do things quietly and intuitively. Um, if you have a square or rectangle palm, flushed or pink skin, and shorter fingers, length of the palm is greater than the length of the fingers. That describes me. So you're a fire palm, spontaneous, enthusiastic, and optimistic. And isn't it so true? I can remember times when it was freaking bad. Oh man. Yet, in the midst of all that, there was not a quiet voice. No, there was this voice shouting, "Get off your ass. Come on. You can do it. You're stronger than the," and it's like, yeah. So sometimes egotistical, impulsive, and insensitive. Typically, we're extroverts and we do things boldly and instinctively. So there you go. Finally, it says, now take a look at your right hand and see what palmsters would say about you. What does palmistry say about someone else? Does it seem to match what you know about yourself or that person? Um, so there you go. I have more. I have more. In this one, little different chart. So this one allows us to get a little better idea. Um, and in some of these, lines, I don't have them. Others, but yeah. So you got the heart line, the head line, the marriage line, money line, sun line, health line, fate line, life line. You get a line, I get a line, everybody gets a line. Let's see. And yeah. So, bum, 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 bum. So this one is really cool. I read this whole one and I got to tell you, this one was fun. The guy who put this together really had his act together. So as we get further into this, these ratchet lines. So look at yours right now, and guys on the left hand, how many do you have that are solid? I got one, two, three. So you can see how they look at it, right? Um, the mounds, you have Venus here, Jupiter here, Saturn here, Apollo here, Mercury here. Very easy. Little finger, Mercury. Ring finger, Apollo. Middle finger, say fuck you, Saturn. And the index finger is Jupiter. Then you have Luna, which is on this side. The percussions that which tell you how many marriages you'll have, how many kids, and it's really spooky because it's amazing how some of this stuff actually works. So the palm should sit directly opposite the subject in good light, and I would advise that no third person should distract the attention of either. You really got to get focus in, and I would recommend a pretty bright light so you can really know. First of all, see what particular type of hand belongs to. I mean, if you figure out earth, wind, fire, earth, yeah, uh, tells you something right there. Notice the length of the fingers in proportion to the palm. Examine first the left hand, then the right, making the latter the basis of your reading. Examine every part of the hand, the color, the skin, the nails, texture, front, back, before speaking. Next, notice the thumb, whether it is long or short, subtle or firm. See, mine's straight up, and there's a meaning behind that. Um, Next, look at the mounts, observing what ones predominate, then proceed with the lines, beginning with the lifeline. Always tell the general characteristics before touching upon a coming event. And I think the reason why I'm drawn to palmistry so much is that it requires the holding and there's a transference of energy there. And I just have a sense that energy has an imprint. Before I came into this realm, I have a suspicion that I imprinted upon myself things that I was going to need, which also means that many of us who, particularly early in life, dealt with tragedy, abuse, etc., um, we apparently knew it ahead of time. We apparently, if you were adapt enough, apparently I don't know if I was or wasn't, I made it through, so I guess so. Um, but it can aid you in that. I mean, it's pretty cool when you think about it. Make no predictions before examining carefully the lines on both hands to see that they coincide. Be very frank and sympathetic with your subject. You may be very skeptical and sometimes rude, but that must not affect you. Remember that any person or thing that annoys you rules you and has power over you and weakens the interest you take in the subject before you. And the adapted good manners are the more successful and popular, which you should use to hold the keys of the mysteries of life, the secret and eventual future of the person before you. Be careful you do not give a misleading accuracy. And so his lessons are very astute. Let me get to the first one because it really tells you. I read all 40, and if you want this, it's in a PDF. I found it very interesting. So, lesson one is to learn the mounts of the hand. This hand is to explain the mounts, and each lesson must be referred to this hand until you get in your mind the map of the hand and its lines to know the position they occupy. Will, reason, and logic are found in the thumb. The more one can bend the thumb back, the more willpower they have. Venus is below the thumb. The higher this mount, the more passionate one is. Jupiter is next. The higher this mount, the more one will stand up for his or her rights. Saturn is next. And the higher this mount means the person is scientific and will be happy. If many lines cross together, it means misfortune. Apollo, or the sun, next means talent and glory. If crossed by lines, failures. Mercury, next, if this mount be high, means a change of fortune. Mars, next to the percussion, means self controlled temper. Moon, next, this mount means pre presentimentals and mental troubles. Present mentals, yeah. It's an interesting word. And mental troubles, there is found the suicide mark. When the mounts lean towards one another, the qualities of each are blended and develop in unison. Very, very interesting. So, lesson two. This hand is hard to explain the fate line. When this party first started out in life, he started in opposition to his wishes, as you will notice by the line starting from the lifeline and turning towards the Mount of Luna, up to the 27th year when there came a loss into his life, and then he started into another line. Now, the guy that put this together is a chiropractor, and I thought it was so interesting that he would take the time to learn his patients' uh, palms. I mean, remarkable. And the more that I've read into this, it's amazing how accurate your palms will actually predict what you've experienced. And if they're good at showing you the past, well, I would say it would be wise then to maybe see what it's saying about the future. But that's just me. I'm a simple man. Um, the heart line shows where he had one attachment in his life, then went out. That means it went away. And where there will be two others. One will pass out through financial reasons. It means didn't go well. The headline is fine, which will be of great help to him, showing him to be one who always wants both sides to every question and great mentality and brain power. That's pretty cool if you ask me. I'm going to watch my time here. Obviously, we're not going to have time to go through this. We'll probably pick up it on Friday. I love this topic. And heck, you know what? If it helps someone out there, why not? All right, so This hand, lesson three, this hand has some very peculiar lines, and the fate line going right straight up to the mount of Saturn from the wrist shows where there will never be but one interest in life to this person in a business way. He has married three times, and his first marriage was a very short duration and passed out very suddenly. In other words, it ended. The absence of the headline and the wavy condition of the fate line would indicate him to be of a weak character were it not for his firm thumb. The line crossing from the Mount of Venus, ending with the star, shows an accident to one of the family, but it did not end in death. His vitality lines are good and shows where he lives on his vitality and willpower more than on his physical strength. So he's a thinker. I can't help but not just think that, I have a feeling our ancestors figured this out. And again, like I said, I studied biometrics. And so when you understand the ridges of your fingertips, it's remarkable. That's why I know there's an architect. I don't know if it's a god, goddess, I don't know that at all, but there's someone who's pretty smart in designing this. Where does the freaking time go? Right. Well, it gets really cool in here. I mean, we'll pick up on this again because, yeah, and then we're going to get into a little bit of hope. Had another person, tribe member, who sent me some really good books, read them, and there is a way out of this mess, or at least someone else believes so. And if they can believe it, well, I need to listen to what they have to say to add to my own consciousness. And so that tells me that, hey, Steiger, yeah. And who knows, we may already possess the way out. I mean, if the palms of our hands can tell us our lives, like, having, for instance, the mystical cross, then kind of tells me that it would have also something to say further on down. Why not? Then I have to ask myself, so do ghosts, do they have hands? They seem to do. Do they have palms? Maybe we could get into reading ghost palms. I just. All right. So I just love this subject. So tell me, how's your life so far? Are you gaining anything on this? That's the idea. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that, darling. I have to go back and read this. uh Hey, Dragon Sage, how are you? How is everybody out there? There you go. There's dichotomy. Your body does heal while you sleep, and I guess they. So does the body stop growing? I don't know. Hey, Paul Joe, good to see you. I haven't seen Gogo. I hope he's all right over there in Croatia. Hey, Deborah, how are you? Good to see you, Hummingbird. Eric, yeah. So anyway, tell me what you think. I find it fascinating. You know, I got to tell you, as I look back on my past, I mean, this is no different than taking into another person's hand, palm to palm, and then speaking prophecy over them, speaking healing over them. In essence, they didn't teach us how to read the palm, but, the palm means a lot. Just think about it, Palm Sunday. Now, I know what people are going to say, but hey, think about it, you know? They say life and death is in the power of the tongue. Well, then I guess, life and death would be measured in the palm, right? I don't know. Hey, Rick, serious information. It is, yeah. Um, you can sleep a lot when you're depressed. No depression. Hey, and I like tacos. In fact, if I had one favorite cuisine, it's definitely Mexican food. Right along with Tex-Mex, but there's a clear difference between Tex-Mex and Mexican food. But that is my favorite. I mean, if you're going to have to eat, and we do, I always like this. Yeah. I mean, give me some jalapenos, give me some salsa, you know. That capsian, it does something for you. It does something for you psychically as well. I'm convinced of it, you know. But maybe it's just me. Seems like the hotter the food, I don't know, it releases something. Just me. Egg rolls. I like Chinese food too. It'll probably be my third favorite, you know. But what can I say? Thank you, Scotty boy. Appreciate it. So Mike and Cindy tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to opening the clairvoyancy on this channel. I've been meditating, telling the spirits that they're welcome here, that we get together, particularly on Thursday. You know, they can tell us by our energy light. And I get the idea word goes pretty quick on the other side. It's like, hey, there's an outlet over here. And by the time many of them hear it, the line is so freaking long. So it's just me. I don't palm trees, exactly. Uh, uh, well, thank you, Jamel. That's very kind of you. Welcome. You're going to love this group. This is a loving group here. We've been together, the core of this group, been together over a decade. What is right with us? Not wrong, right? Because, I think we're doing some things right. Not to say we don't stub our toe along the way, but hey, we got healers here that can help heal that toe. So that works it as well. Mark, how you doing, brother? Tex-Mex, yeah. Brazilian food, it has a unique flavor, doesn't it? It does. When I was fighting the lawsuit against this publicly traded company, I was in San Jose because that's where the case was being. Judge Nichols, still remember that guy. But anyway, so staying there, and trials have this way, you have to go through voir dire, and it was the whole thing. But my point was, right around the corner from the hotel I was staying at, was this Cuban restaurant from a Cuban family. Oh man, ah, loved it, loved it. And if you're ever in New Orleans, I stayed at the Le Pere. It was a haunted hotel. This fucking place was haunted. But there was this restaurant. I loved it. It was run all by blacks, and it was, I love turnip greens, black eyed peas. The lady that owned it, she says, we're adopting you. She says, for a white man, she says, you have a lot of soul. Because I would go in there every day. I love mustard greens, and they had the best recipe. And anyway, that's all I got to say. Susie Q says, I'm thinking tacos. I'm thinking tacos too. I mean, I love it. But yeah, uh, yeah, everyone does. The admission, everyone here does get to speak here. We love diversity of thought. It's not to say everyone is going to agree with everything I say. Wouldn't want that. But it's wonderful to read, to learn, to feel. Yeah. Uh, Lynn loves rhubarb. We had a plant that we didn't get to bring with us from Colorado, but yeah, that plant it was huge, and she made rhubarb jelly and pretty good stuff. Rice, beans, and greens is a staple here. See, I think I fit quite in with the what kind of beans, Mark? That's the thing. Brian, how are you, brother? Appreciate it. Back in the 70s, I had my palm read. Wow. How cool is that, Brian? See, these are things I love. Um, thank you, Dragon Sage. I appreciate it. Listen, when I was in Burnett Balin, the state home for abused kids, my roommate was James. He was a black guy, stocky guy, man. But James taught me soul. He introduced me to the Temptations. Just the whole group, and that's where I learned, and thankful for it. Uh, you know what, Scotty boy, this is anything but a cult. Someone with black beans. Oh, black beans and kidney beans. Oh, okay, yeah. Love black beans. Love pinto beans. I kind of like, I have a recipe that I have for my own chicken enchiladas and then my own pinto beans, Yeah. I'm just using caps. All right, everybody, have yourselves a good one. Appreciate all of you. I'll be here tomorrow with Mike and Cindy from Evolutionary Healing Arts. And so come on in. Energy Arts, excuse me. Well, it's healing arts too. Energy is healing. Yeah. Okay. Hummingbird Howie, I made the mistakes of taking a bite of rhubarb. Oh, no, 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 no. I mean, it's almost poisonous, isn't it? That's why I keep asking Lynn, but she'd cook it all down. And I have to say, it tastes okay. But yeah, what can I say? Stephanie Marie, thank you, darling. Have yourselves a fabulous day as well. And listen, love all of y'all. Y'all have you have made me a much better person and you've enhanced my journey through this realm. Can't imagine. Of course, 40 years ago, I would have never imagined of doing this, but hey, what did I know? Hit the pinto beans for Yeah, what's the saying? Beans, beans, they make you fart. Beans, beans are good for your heart. Yeah, so if you fart a lot, that means your heart is good. I don't know. I'll do that, Chris. I'll do that, cat, for sure. All right, everybody. Much love to you. See you on the other side of this day.